If you guys don't know me, my name is Mona Cod. I teach how identity, the nervous system, and our attention shape our reality. Some people call this manifestation, but it's really self-improvement, self-growth, mindset improvement, leading to changes that are cumulative and over time produce different results than you've had so far in your life. And most people who listen to this type of content don't necessarily love every aspect of their lives. There's always room for improvement, even if you do, even if you're content with your life, there's always room for better. And I really appreciate a group of people that push forward in always becoming better every single day. So for me, it's really important that I become better over time, that I don't let collective consciousness affect me or affect me to the level that I just give up and go with it. It's very important for me that I take some people with me on this journey, that I convince some people who are ready to hear that more is possible and better is possible, even in a world that seems to be falling apart. Chris says the road to success is always under construction. Exactly. If you're not evolving every day, there really isn't any point, because entropy takes over very, very quickly to everybody. All right, so today we will be talking about building a feminine energy, femininity, and confidence. I got two messages on this, three really, that I want to read, and I want to do a live on how to build feminine confidence, how to see the world in terms of you performing as a woman, and what is the value that you bring to the world. You know how these days everyone asks you, what do you bring to the table? We'll talk a little bit about that. If you're part of my group, last week we had a really great meditation on the subconscious mind. And then we're working on this workbook that I made for like one day every day for a year, for 12 months. But I think everybody's a little behind. So I'm gonna do a poll in my group, my Facebook group, Circle Infinity. And I'm just gonna ask you guys if you want until the end of March to finish month 1 and 2. So basically taking an extra month. I'm about 5 days behind right now. I don't want to rush through anything. Also, I don't want to start a thread for month 3 if you guys aren't there. So I'll do the poll. And if you guys want me to give you until the end of March, especially because there's March break, a lot of people in our group are parents and they will be taking off for March break, let me know. And we can do that. I don't want anybody to feel rushed, and then I want to stay in the conversation for month 2 if that's where we're at. Month 2 is a lot of work. It's a lot of micro actions. It's deep. Exactly. Valerie says for me, month 2 is deep. So, Valerie, I was suggesting we take until the end of March to finish it, especially because there's a week off in there with the school. So, but I'll put a poll and I'll see. I don't think anybody is up to date. Like, I'm not up to date. I'm like 5-6 days behind and I don't want to rush it. Like I said, my 12-month program might take 18 months to do. And then I kind of just don't want to leave anyone behind. And the point is doing it more or less together. Like if we're 2 weeks apart, that's one thing. But if you're in a completely different month, I don't really want that, I don't think. So, okay, I'll do that poll. I hope you guys did the new moon meditation on the subconscious. If not, you'll still have time to do it. I mean, you can do it anytime. It's posted in the group. I think people really like that one, and you should do it on a night when you feel relaxed and you want to see what's happening in the subconscious. But today, let's talk about confidence, femininity. I got a lot of questions on, the relationships with men and what is the value in it. So I want to sort of expand on this by reading some messages and providing my feedback on them. So the first that I received is really on confidence. And this queen in our group says, hello, Mona, I hope you're well. Can you talk more about how overconfidence ruins specific outcomes in your life, if it is a subject that can help us all? I often tell myself, of course I'll get it. I'm exceptional. But I just realized that by doing the workbook, that by doing this is just inflated confidence. The issue is not believing that I'm exceptional, but it's needing outcomes to validate it. When reality doesn't immediately confirm it, I feel threatened, like it's contradicting my identity. I really want to stop needing validation for my confidence to be intact and know that I am exceptional whether something arrives today or later, to have true and real unwavering confidence. Okay, so I really like this question because it is very, very easy to say, I'm exceptional, right? Maybe you're a good looking woman. Maybe you know you're extremely smart. Maybe you're aware of how capable you are, what you bring to the table. And you look in the mirror and you say, I'm really exceptional. And you go in the world and the world doesn't immediately recognize that in you. Whether it's a man, whether it's a job, whether it's any interaction, they're not recognizing that exceptional person that you know that you are right away, right? And then you lose it. You realize that you needed that validation. So, but here's the thing. If confidence collapses the moment you don't get that validation, that you don't get that outcome, then it's not real confidence. That is just a performance-based identity. I perform this look for you, this speech for you, and if you're going to validate me and be on my live, if my life is going to have 1,000 people, or my, TikTok is going to grow to 1 million followers, then I will know I'm really good and this is worth pursuing. Otherwise, I won't. So you see, I'm giving this specific example because I don't have 1,000 people in my lives and my TikTok is not growing. But that has nothing to do with me not thinking that what I'm providing is of value. It's a reason outside of me that has nothing to do with me, right? So it's a difference between having the confidence that you're providing value and going where your value is recognized. Whether it's a group of 5 people or 500,000 people, it doesn't really matter. You have to stay where you are valued. Okay, so let's differentiate a little bit between masculine confidence and feminine confidence. Masculine confidence comes from achieving, comes from performing, comes from validation, comes from output, comes from measurement. That's how men validate themselves and their confidence increases. A guy who's not producing anything, who has to collect government checks, who's rejected by all women, and who's overweight, believe me, that guy has no confidence. Because the male version of confidence can only develop based on what I said, right? Measurement, output, performance, response from the women, etc. While a woman's confidence, it's a lot, very, very different, right? A woman's confidence stems from the fact that she has, or should stem from the fact that she has intrinsic value. Intrinsic value. She is stable. She is not moved from whether or not the outcome presents itself as the way she sees herself. Because she just realizes if she's not valued in that situation, it's this or better. No problem. This group of people are going to skip my video, or they don't like me, or they don't want to date me. But I am taking my value somewhere else. It's a numbers game, right? I am going to go on 10 more dates until somebody sees this value that I hold within myself every day. And I will never, ever, ever break my boundaries, sort of make the compromises in order to be with the first 3 guys who desire something else out of life than the value that I'm bringing. So this is why I tell you guys, you have to have that box. I call it the box. In this box, it has to be who you are, your needs and your boundaries, and you can never deviate from that, because deviating from this will produce will erode your confidence. Remember, your value is intrinsic and is defined by you. So let's talk about how you define it and how you build it. How to build confidence. I wrote out like sort of 8 ideas that I had, and you guys can add more if you want, or we can expand on any one of this. I'm gonna start looking at the comments. I never want to make this a monologue, but somehow it always ends up being a monologue. Please provide your feedback. I am scanning through the comments as I'm talking if you have another idea or if you want to ask a question. How to build feminine confidence. Number 1, you have to have, in today's world, okay? You have to have an area of competence. You have to have a skill preferably 2 skills that you're doing really well or that you're on your way of doing really well. Of course, this skill, let's say if you're a model, if you're an actress, can definitely be your looks, as long as that is producing results in like whatever job you have in those types of job. But if you're not in that type of role, it has to be more than your looks. So your competence is a skill that you have, that you're very confident in speaking about, in presenting to other people, that when you open your mouth, it's clear that you have competence in that area. And this, again, this can be related to your job, it can be related to something else, but ideally, this is the area of expertise where you'd be making money with. There is no way around developing this. Competence does not come from being born. It does not come from just being beautiful, again, unless you're a model, you're specifically getting paid for being beautiful. But even that, it's not just being beautiful. You got to be there on time. You got to be okay with long hours. You got to be okay with deflecting all the people who are going to come onto you and try to ruin you, and all of that, right? You have to have competence in this. So ask yourself, what is it? Where is it? Which areas of competence am I developing? What I know, what I study, and what I refine. This thing that I'm coming here and I'm talking about is not a static thing. I didn't come here 3 years ago and I'm repeating the same things today. I've evolved, I've developed, I'm constantly refining myself in this area and other areas that I believe I'm competent in business and other things. I'm developing myself in my competence as a mother. I'm always evolving. So keep this in mind. If you're not reading, studying, refining, you're going to fall behind. Just with the competence, your confidence will automatically increase because you know that you know what you're talking about. You know you're not bullshitting your way through life. You don't have to do all this. You don't have to manipulate people. You don't have to convince anybody of anything. You are actually capable of handling the family, the job, whatever it is that you're competent in. So that's number 1. Number 2, repetition. We talk about this a lot in our work, right? Confidence is not just a feeling you can generate inside yourself when you're feeling perky. Confidence is a memory. I remember I could speak like this last Monday and the Monday before that and in another group of people and so I'm confident today when I'm presenting a subject because it's a memory. I remember that I'm confident. I remember that I'm competent, that I can function in this kind of environment. So look for confidence that becomes a memory and is not just a feeling that you can conjure up inside of you because you're having a good looking day, right? So the habits become you, just like the gym. The mind is just like the gym, exactly the same. The analogy is perfect. You're gonna look a certain way. If you go to the gym, you can develop different parts of your body. You can just work on your abs, for example, and the abs will show. It's the same with the mind. Whatever it is you develop, that's what's going to show. And that's what's going to bring you confidence. Repetition. That's why we're doing this work. The book every day on repeat. I don't know. If I don't have something to work on myself that day, if I don't sit, if I don't reflect, I feel like, oh my God, today was just kind of like, today was stolen from me. At this point, this is how I feel. Like if I have a few days a month where I really realize at the end of the day that I'm too exhausted, too spent, and I haven't done my reflections, I'm like, what have I done for myself today? You know what I mean? How is it that the world was able to steal every minute that I didn't have 20 minutes to myself? I don't like that. I don't like that because nothing is really that important. Right? I'm not saving lives. It's not that I didn't have time to do my work on myself because, they called me in the hospital to do a brain surgery. I'm not a brain surgeon. It's not that important. Whatever I do on a daily basis. Which comes to point number 3. Physical self-respect. This doesn't even have to do with sex at this point. I'm talking here physical self-respect. Women let circumstances dictate how they're going to treat their bodies. Isn't that the truth? I want people to admit it right now. If you're a woman, How you treat your body has to do with your circumstances, has to do with your kid's schedule. Do you have time to go to the gym? Probably not. Has to do with how hard you have to stay over at work. You have to do the laundry. You have to do the dishes first. You can't get on yourself before all the beds are made. You can't do any of this stuff. So you do everything for everybody. Let me check in on my mom to make sure she's okay. And then I'll see if I have time for me. If I have time, hey, I was planning to eat healthy today, but you know what? I just didn't have the time, because I didn't have the time to go get what I need, and I had to eat something from like a box dinner, right? How many people, nobody's admitting it, but I know this is the truth. This is the truth. So the physical self-respect to your body, to what you eat, to what you committed to doing, if you're committed to working out or taking a walk, if you're committed to meditating, if you've committed to looking a certain way, does that come only if the circumstances allow? Or does that come first and then you'll see how much time you have for the other circumstances? You know, I personally know people who have their kids in like 3 to 4 activities, like after school, and their whole life is consumed by contests, by these activities, by piano lessons, by this. These people look honestly awful. Okay, they have health issues in their late 30s and early 40s. And to me, that doesn't make sense. I'm a mom too, but to me, it doesn't make sense. Can only do 1 extracurricular activity per semester. I need the other time. I can't just become a taxi driver for my 1 kid. Imagine like they have 2 kids or 3 kids, and it's all about that. That's how it is. So that's physical self-respect. And if you don't have it, remember, your body's important. It's very important. It's not just your mind and your spirit. The body is the actual apparatus that interacts with 3D world. And it's not just, oh, well, whatever, it's going to last me until, it doesn't last me, and that's okay. It's not that. It's that you can't really produce a different energetic signature if your body's not okay. You can't really do it. They're all connected together, these things. You can leave your body behind and all of a sudden just work on your mind and things are gonna work out perfectly. I wish it worked like that, but it doesn't. So the point is, this vessel, a neglected vessel, is not going to be very helpful if you're trying to develop confidence. What you look like will matter for you in terms of when you look in the mirror. Hey, am I put together correctly? Do I have time for me? Do I honor myself? Do I honor my vessel? That's going to make a difference in your level of confidence. Number 4, strengthening your energetic system, right? So after you've done that, after you set time for yourself, you need to specifically work on strengthening your energetic system. The one that's around us. Energetic body, not the astral body, just the energetic body. The energetic body is strengthened via all the modalities that we talk about here, right? Including your reaction to things, how much you depend on the outcome of things, including the people you interact with and how their energy affects you, including who's around you and how, like, listening to your intuition. So for example, you meet somebody or you meet a friend, you have to pay attention to how that interaction leaves you at the end of the interaction throughout the day. Did they take from you, or they give to you, or they leave you neutral? And anything that didn't leave you at least neutral needs to be cut out of your life. Now, of course, if it's like one time and your friend was really down and it really affected you, that's obviously, you should be there for your friend. But if every time you meet this person, you have the same sensation that you've given, that you're depleted, like a lot of people don't even monitor this. They're just like, oh, I'm exhausted, I'm tired. But meanwhile, it's the same people or the same circumstance that generate that within them. And if at your job, you feel this, or you feel a sensation of dread when you walk through the door in the morning, you have to look for another job right away. Like I know people just sit and wait. And look, if your job is neutral, and you know you could do better and you're just waiting for an opportunity, but meanwhile you're developing yourself and you're capable, you're keeping your energy up and stuff, then wait for the opportunity. The universe will present it to you. But if when you walk through the door in the morning, you loathe it, then right away you're distorting your energy system just by being there. And no 20-minute, half an hour, 40-minute work at the end of the day on yourself will be able to equalize that distortion in your energy field. So it's very, very important to take yourself out of situations. Control reactions, don't be dependent on outcomes, and control environments. That's how you develop. Those are the basics of developing, or the foundational level, before you even meditate. Before you even, like, how can you increase something if you don't know what decreases you? Do you know what I'm talking about? That's where we're at. Number 5, controlled access. This kind of ties into what we talked about it before. Who has access to you? Access to you should be earned, especially as a woman, right? The only people who have access to you unearned should be your children, right? Because you made them, so they have access to you. Hi, Mari. I'm glad you're on the live. We're talking about how to build feminine confidence. We're at number 5, the control access. Men, friends, family, applicable to all. Men especially, if whoever touches your body has an energetic impact on you. 100% of the times. I'm sorry, this is the truth. Because women process the energetic imprint of the men that they are intimate with all the time. And if you have one partner, like you have a husband, you have a boyfriend, you will notice, if you pay attention, depending on where he's at in his life over a period of time, that the intimate interaction with that man will leave a different imprint depending on what he's going through. And that's when you're going to make a connection of how much these things actually affect you. Sometimes you need repair afterwards. You know what I mean? Depending how you went into it, depending if you went totally open, totally vulnerable, and the imprint is stronger, versus if you closed your energy system and saw it just as a sexual act. Depending, that's a different conversation. But controlled access, this will allow you time to build or rebuild your energetic system and will stop the drainage from your body of energy. Who has access? Who is right now, let's see, who's the biggest, for the people who are on this live, what is the biggest energy drainer for you today, these days? Is it your mother? Is it having to do a certain task that you hate doing? Is it your husband? Is it your dating life? Is it talking to that friend that always needs to talk for 2 hours every night? Somebody says my personal trainer. Yeah, my Pilates instructor for me. I know, every time I walk through the door, I'm like, I'm gonna leave some of my energy here. Somebody says my job and my debt. Yes, but you see, the debt is mental. It's mental. That's why I talked about this last live, I think, and how much that can affect us mentally, just the fact that it's there. Even if you can make the minimum payments and nobody's knocking on your door, nobody's going to take your house, just having that debt, for some people, it's overwhelming to the max. So, you know, they tell you the people that did really well in life, and I have a friend who's done really, really well, coming from nothing, you know, but the risks that I've seen her take, I couldn't have taken. At some point, from her personal line of credit that was secured against her home, she took $100,000 because she couldn't pay her staff. And she had to make payroll payments from her personal line of credit. They would have taken her house away if the business didn't come. Those are the kind of risks, for me, I can't take them. I would not be able to sleep at night. So you really, before taking on debt, you really have to know your risk profile within you. Because if you're ruining your nervous system to invest $5,000 in crypto, don't do it. Don't do it. It will ruin you mentally when it goes to 2,000. Let's see what else. Husband side of the family, I feel like that could be controlled access a little bit. What do you think, Lisa? And she says husband side of the family is an energy drainer for her. You got out of a toxic relationship, but it still drains me, says somebody else. Yeah, obviously. It's what I said. The man is connected to your energy system and the cords stay present. And they keep draining from you 100% of the time. That's why I always tell women, you have to really monitor this interaction. You can't get rid of them just because you block them on your phone. I mean, it's not going to be done and over with. Socially, it will be, but you will feel the after effects until your energy system is replenished again. And for that, you need practice and discipline, and never to go in that place ever again with another man either. You know, I really don't understand why women have toxic relationships. I really don't. And it's a subject that actually affects me a lot, because I don't see intrinsic value in men unless they're going to change your life for the better. I just don't. Maybe it's just me. But anyways, I can take that up later because I want to go through this 8. So controlled access. Number 6, emotional containment. Emotional containment. See, you have to understand that not every emotion needs an expression. You don't have to act on every emotion. Acting on emotion is draining. So the emotion to come out, for it to come out of you, it has to use energy, right? So every time you're angry, you yell, you scream, sometimes at other drivers on the road. Every time an emotion comes out of you like that, jealousy, anything, when it's expressed, it's using energy. What you need to learn is containing your emotion and understanding not all of them need expression. One that doesn't need expression is definitely road rage. You never need to feel that, and you definitely don't need to express that. I'm not even getting to the personal ones. Okay, your mother-in-law or somebody says my husband's side of the family, how much emotional containment can you do there? You should be able to do some that's better than you used to be able to do a year ago. Every year you should get better at all of these guys. At your competence, at your physical self-respect. As long as you're better this year than last year, you're growing. Even though you may not be where you want to be, but that doesn't matter. What matters is this measurement. You look back a few months ago, if you've been doing the work, and if you have this list, let's say, or any list that you're trying to improve yourself on, the measurement is I'm doing better than I used to do in this area, much better. Every year, getting better. Then the results in the circumstances don't matter, because you know you're on your way to becoming better and better, and circumstances have no choice but to change around you. Number 7, detachment from outcome. Very important for energy containment, for energy development. Any outcome is okay, really. There really aren't any big deals in life. Everything can be changed. The only big deal in life that I've always said it's a huge deal and it could completely change your life is, knock on wood, a kid has cancer. That's a huge deal. Everything else, breakup, job loss, that you accumulated, all of this need to be seen as not a big deal. It's not easy. I didn't say it was easy. I didn't say you flip a switch and this becomes reality. I'm saying nothing really is worth allowing all your energetic body to get distorted and drained over it. That's the truth. Every outcome is okay. You got to understand why it happened. And if you don't like that outcome, what are you going to do for it never to happen again? Somebody said a toxic relationship. What are you going to do to ensure from the start that your next relationship isn't toxic? Are you really going to walk away the first moment you see something toxic? Are you going to say, hey, listen, I don't need you to tell me what to do. I already know what to do. My brain functions at least as good as yours. So I don't need you to tell me what to do. If you want to be in a relationship with me, don't ever tell me what to do, because I'm not going to do it anyways. And you're just annoying me with your input. Are you going to say that? Or are you going to be like, oh, I don't know what to do about him. He's so controlling. And I don't know, it's from the fact that his mother abandoned him. And it's from the fact that he's, always on at work. Who cares why he's behaving the way he is? You don't care. You don't care. You're not his psychotherapist. You can't medicate him anyways. Okay? You can't. So you can only regulate the access you allow to yourself, the boundaries you have for yourself, the rules that you have for yourself. That's all. I hate it when women tell me why men are the way they are, what they've been through. He's been hurt. He's been cheated on. He has an attachment. I don't even know what the attachment styles are because I don't care. I just care what impact it has on me. Does his impact violate my boundaries? Is he changing my life for the better? Right? He's been hurt. Who's above the age 25 who hasn't been hurt, guys? Any person in this world? Do you recommend EFT? You know what? It doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt to do it. It's scientifically proven to regulate your nervous system. I do a little EFT tapping with an affirmation, I am a winner, at the end of all my lives. More like for fun than anything else, but it does change. You know, it's a shift. Every time you do EFT, especially if you do it properly and you do it in a group, you'll feel a subtle shift. At least like your attention, because your attention has been diverted, especially if you're worried about something. Do some EFT tapping. Why not? Yeah, exactly. We have been hurt, but we don't go around making other people's problems. Yeah. But you know what I'm talking about? All the women who talk about why their men are the way they are. Oh, he's like that. You know, he has a big ego and, you know, you got to be careful around what we say around him. Yuck. All right, number 8, I put here, female amplification. Women amplify other women. The women who are on the same path as you, obviously. So not women who are, you know, completely destroyed. There's some women who are toxic themselves. You gotta be part of a group of women with whom you can have deep conversations with. Not gossip conversation with, deep conversations with. That you gotta be with a group of women that are working towards bettering themselves. The energetic signature of a group of women that are going in the same direction and they all want to become better and they all understand they're starting from different levels. Try to develop this in your own life, like personally, with a few friends. Even if it's one friend or two friends, that's enough. You guys are talking about, wow, I've done this and I became better. I've done this. You know, I noticed that right now I don't scroll after, 10 p.m. and my sleep is a lot better. Any small thing, they're doing something to improve. They're not just sitting there. Exactly, that's our group. They're not just sitting there complaining about the president, complaining about the economy, complaining about what's happening on the other side of the world, complaining about how the boomer generation bought their homes for $50,000 and now they're selling it for $2 million. And that's why young people can never have homes. That's not getting you anywhere. And remember, the facts that are applicable to collective consciousness don't have to be applicable to you specifically. That's why you've been told, especially if you're a Christian, salvation is individual, because it is. You can save yourself from a line of thought that will destroy you. You understand? I want to make sure we get to the other one. The other one is also on the feminine, but it's a little different. These were like about confidence. So the other one says, Dear Mona, I think a lot about your video that women and men draw energy from women. It makes me angry because it's true. And that means that feminine energy is not valued enough in this society. I don't mean spiritually valued, but actually compensated with money. I try not to focus too much on it, as it does not help my view on men, as most of them are not aware how valuable women are. It's not entirely their fault, as no one teaches them. I would love to hear your thoughts on that, if you think it would be for the benefit of the group. Okay, so you see that the difference between male energy and female energy, like I was saying in the beginning of this live, is that they're measured, the masculine energy is really measured on output, on the structure, on things that are evident right away. While feminine energy, if it's really present, it's more like atmospheric, right? It's inspiration, it's nurture, it's softness, it's It's that creativity that women cannot have when they're placed in masculine roles. So if you have to work 2 jobs to support your family as a woman, you're not gonna have room for creative energy, for that expression, for that tenderness, for that softness, for even your physical respect, like we talked about. You know, other people's schedule, your kids, everything is gonna come before you all the time if you're in the masculine, because that's how the masculine is supposed to operate, and they're designed to operate that way. They're designed to draw more energy. The softer the woman is, the more creative, the more, obviously here we're assuming that both the men and women have each other's best interest at heart, right? They're not looking to use one another. The true feminine, the true masculine, he draws his power from her, but she is allowed to be in that softness and creative side of herself. And this is how feminine, masculine should function. Each were designed for different things in this world. And there's nothing wrong with either one of these energies. It's just becomes distorted, this balance, when you put women in masculine roles, and when what men understand the masculine is some aggressive red pill stuff. I don't know. When you understand that alpha projection as a masculine thing, oh yeah, I gotta have 10 girlfriends and I give them all my credit card, Andrew Tate, okay? And that means I'm a man. When you understand it that way, it's toxic. And women, when they succeed in life and become boss babes and everything, there's nothing wrong with that for the world, because you need it, right? Like to function in 3D. But you are going to pay for that as a woman. You have to, like, to run a company, to be a CEO, to make the hard decisions, to fire people, to be heartless in situations, to go over your competitor, irrespective that, maybe your competitor, about him something that not getting this deal will ruin them or what have you. You go in because you have your own staff to pay for. All of these things will lower the feminine energy. But I want to get into her message, okay? So what she's saying, women aren't valued, they aren't valued properly. Part of that, it's on men. The majority of that is on women. Like, you guys know that I do all this for women. And what I'm saying, I cannot sugarcoat anything that I'm saying, okay? Because what happens here, the feminine energy without the structure of the masculine, without the structure, okay, it just becomes consumed. So if the masculine energy in your life, whether it's just your boss, let's say you're a single woman, whether it's your husband, whether it's whoever's around you, okay, if they're not providing you structure, they're just consuming your energy. And they're consuming it whether you say like they can consume it or not, because they're going to feed off your energy, okay? So with this, I want to tell you, the more available you are without meeting your needs and boundaries, the less valuable you are. And that's just the bottom line. And that's why when I hear women telling me, I've been in this toxic relationship for 3 years, okay, I understand you have kids, you don't have a job, you somehow ended up in this, that if it's situational. But when I hear, oh, I've been with this guy, he's been cheating on me, whatever, but I pay I'm like, is he paying your bills? No, he's not paying my bills. He's just my boyfriend. Okay, so he comes over twice a week, has access to your energy, your body, your time, probably cook for him, takes you out once in a while, cheats on you, doesn't respond to your messages, becoming toxic to your nervous system, because your nervous system needs that structure. So now all your feminine energy is being consumed, nothing is being returned. So you got to generate more and more energy, and you're not capable of that in an environment that's not really safe for your nervous system. So my question is like, why are you in this situation? And if I hear, I love him, like that conversation is done. Because first of all, it's very unnatural to love somebody more than you value yourself. Very unnatural. The only time that should happen is with kids. Your kids, my kid, no matter what she'll do, I'll love her the same. Now I love my husband too. But if he cheats on me, I'll stop loving him fairly quickly. If he starts gambling our money away, if he starts drinking and comes home drunk every night, I'll fall out of love with him really quickly. I could not allow something that's destructive to me. I have to be okay. I have to be okay for my business, for this group that I have, of course, for my daughter, for my family, for the world, for whatever I'm doing in this world. I cannot allow anything toxic in my life. And every woman should have this view. So the boundary enforcement is on you. Are you available without getting your needs met? Are you? Then don't ask yourself why things are not working, why I'm not able to manifest, why this isn't working for me, because you don't have even the energy to offer on this exchange with the universe. You're giving it to the toxic guy. Right now, I really wish this would be visible to the naked eye, you know? Like when you wear infrared and we start seeing in the dark and what have you. There's so many things we don't see, and it's a good thing, because you would literally be seeing him draining your energy from the other side of the city. Yeah, it can be a friend or a family member, 100%. It's more amplified if you're being intimate with him. So that's why with men is a lot more amplified. But over time, a toxic friend that just takes from you, 100%. That's why women refill their energy in women's circles with women who are of the same mindset as them. So be sure you're part of something like that. And in your personal life, be sure it's better to have one or two friends only than have a lot of friends that are not producing any value for your life, okay? Our energy gets replenished by creation, rest, beauty, okay? Whatever you find beauty in. If you find beauty in nature, looking at a river, you find beauty in physical beauty. You like to pretty yourself up just for the act of creation and beauty. Whatever you find beauty in. I have a friend who she likes to draw, and that's her relaxation time. That's her feminine time, and you know I couldn't do that. But what I'm saying is, whatever you find beauty in is personal to you, and you should pursue that, because that's increasing your feminine power and your femininity. And never look to men for validation, for worth, for energy. They can't give you any of those things. Okay? And everything you get from them is very, very temporary. Okay? Even if they give you validation, oh babe, you're so good looking today. Well, tomorrow, or a year from now, you may have gained 20 pounds and have pimples, and all of a sudden he's not telling you that. So where's the validation? And the reason you gain 20 pounds and pimples right now is because he's been stressing you out. And you haven't prioritized your body, because how would you go to the gym when you have to spend time with him? Because if you don't spend time with him after work, maybe he'll spend time with someone else, and maybe he'll cheat on you, and maybe it's not going to work out for you. So you underprice yourself, you overperform, you overexplain, you tolerate, and in exchange, your confidence goes down. What you have to do instead is say, here is the boundary. Here is the standard. Here's the exchange. You have to know that very, very well. And you know what? Why don't you do this exercise tonight if you want? Take a piece of paper and you put the 3 people you most interact with in your day-to-day. Whether it's your best friend, your mom, your sister, your brother, your boyfriend, husband. So you put in there, what is the standard? What is the exchange exactly between me and this person? And what are the boundaries? What is it that I wouldn't accept? Where do I draw the line? Where do you draw the line? My mom is actually really consumed with various conspiracy theories related to health. She feels now everything is poisonous and poisoning her and what have you. I just don't listen to that. The moment the conversation goes that way, I say, Mom, I have to go. I already know what follows. There's some truth in that, in the whole pharmaceutical, and there's some truth, but it's not just the truth I like to contemplate. I do what I can to stay healthy, to eat healthy, to stay away from needing the medical system as much as possible. But more than that, if I allow my mind to go in there to think that every fruit has been sprayed and it's poisonous and what have you, I don't think that'd be really good for me. So my boundary is, if you need to talk about this, I'm not the person to talk to about, especially not on a daily basis. So just hang up politely. Love you, Mom. I gotta go. Yeah, Andrea says, my husband is the same. I can't eat anything from the supermarket. Andrea, pay attention to this, because whatever you put in your mind consistently, okay, even in subtle ways, will affect you. You will find matching, corresponding, like you all of a sudden you'll feel a pain. It will affect you. It cannot affect everything you think about every day will affect you. That's how it works. If you take nothing out of this, just take this. Will affect you, right? So society, going back to this this queen's message, society doesn't value feminine energy because society is structured based on output, based on skill and performance. That's what society rewards. She was saying feminine energy is not rewarded materially. Society is structured by men for men, based on skills, performance, and output. And that's what they compensate financially. That's how it is. But if men could live without women, believe me, they would. Believe me. They're not showing up every day being like, what woman can I take care of today? What should I do? Okay, women are not as good as skills and output and performance, and I need to take care of a few women in this world, employ them, pay their salary, my wife, my mother. They're not showing up in the world like this. The ones that are taking care of women is because they need women. They need something in them, needs them. Yeah, they can't live without our energy. They're feeding off of us. The most successful men are married, 100%. 100%. That's why a lot of divorced men are not divorced for, they say the statistics is, I don't know, the larger portion of divorced men remarry within 5 years. The divorced men, not the divorced women. So this obviously implies they marry sometimes women who've never been married before. But yeah, they don't last. They don't last without that constant, like I said, atmospheric feminine energy. So it's not really what society values is, have I made my feminine energy sovereign over everything else? Have I done my part with my feminine energy, right? And when you assess a man, it's not really about, do I need him? Like this question that I don't need a man. It's more like, what happens to my feminine expression when I'm with him? Is it amplified or is it diminished? If my feminine expression when I'm with a man is not amplified, I will drop him. That's what I've done. Now I'm married, I'm remarried to a man who has always amplified my feminine energy. But that's the measurement. It's not, do I need him on paper? No. I don't need, right? But my whole expression and lifestyle is amplified with him. That's the measurement. And how many people can say that? And whose fault is it when that doesn't happen? Because you can develop a lot better on yourself, by yourself, than you can with a guy who drains you. So why is that man still in your life? That's the real question. By the way, don't talk to men about feminine energy. They know nothing about this. I want to read, guys, please don't call me. I don't take calls during my live, because I do educational lives for women. And this person who asked the previous question actually followed up, because I told her I am going to talk on Monday about this. And she says, thanks a lot. If you think it could tie into the topic, could you also talk about how we can improve our opinion about men? As I consider women and feminine energy so valuable, I have a hard time finding value in men. I try to watch cheesy Hallmark movies with gentlemen in them, but it's hard to change this limiting belief. So, this is a very advanced stage of awareness she's in, because she's actually recognizing this as a limiting belief, right? So this usually happens to women who either, one, encountered a lot of the immature masculine in their life. So you encounter 3, 4, 5, 10 immature masculines, and you think this is what men are all about, and you kind of, you don't really see the value. And number 2, maybe she had herself to develop a lot of masculine energy to survive in the world. So every woman who's successful in her job, who has to make hard decisions, who has to do all the planning, all the controlling of kids' schedule, of maybe her older parents' schedules, all of these women who are performing these masculine structural tasks, they're comparing the men that they're meeting against their own masculine. And most men you meet will fail your own standard. So you'll realize you're a better man than they are. As crazy as this sounds, right? Who's understanding what I'm saying? Because I never have a chat to put, gender down, or it's not about that. But you have to recognize this in yourself. If you've become a better man than the majority of men that you're meeting, you won't be attracted to those men. You won't see the value. 100%. I totally get it. Because how could you? So now all of a sudden your dating pool is much, much smaller than a woman who's in her feminine energy, because she has, let's say, no structure. Oh, I'm blowing your mind. Now all of a sudden you're like, is he as competent as me? Is he able to produce the same income as me, right? A lot of women who are producing a larger income, they have this problem. They can't meet men who match their income. And if not, there's always this thing in the back of the mind, is I'm more capable than him then. Right? You don't compete with men. Yeah, somebody's saying my wife doesn't compete with me, right? Differentiate, separate men from bad experiences. Separate men, the masculine, from bad experiences. And remember, you have to take ownership of a lot of the bad experiences, because a lot of the bad experiences, these men, nobody can really hide for more who they are for more than like 2-3 months. It comes out. So a lot of women who are in toxic relationships, or have been, if you're honest with yourself, there were signs, and obvious signs many times, within the first 3 months of knowing that man or dating that man. And you ended up in a 3-year relationship with him, knowing what he was all about. It's like that. It's like that. I think the baseline filter for my group of women who are following me and who know me is the PPP. That's the baseline entry. The filter, PPP, protector, provider, prioritizer. You have to have all three. You can't just have two. I know women listening to my content who said to me, Mona, I just made the biggest realization of my life why I don't feel comfortable with my spouse or my partner or my boyfriend. He's a provider and he's a protector too, but I never realized he doesn't prioritize me, and this is why I feel like shit all the time. Okay, he just throws some money at me and then go does his own thing. I'm not his priority. He's there for, he drops me if, he's maybe kids from another marriage want to spend time with him, or he drops me for golfing, he drops me for his friends, maybe he cheats on me, whatever. I'm not his priority. But he's a provider and all that, so I'm just trying to understand why I'm not happy. Well, you're not going to be happy. You're not going to be happy. So this PPP, for me, the baseline filter, unfortunately, the more you raise your value and you understand how precious your energy is, the more you spend your energy on yourself and improve yourself, your body, your mind, your competence, your skill level, the more you invest in yourself, the less likely you are to get involved with this type of men. Because when you look at them, hey, they don't pass the baseline filter. Now, the baseline filter is not everything. It's not because he's a protector, provider, prioritizer. That's it. You have to see how a man makes you feel in your nervous system. Like if he's depressed all the time, if he's down all the time, he's a downer, doesn't want to do anything fun. I don't know. I'm just giving an example here. I'm saying that the PPP, you're his whole world, because maybe he doesn't have kids or what have you. He makes you his priority. He's paying the bills. He opens your car door. But with him, you feel down. You feel depressed. You feel it's not there. So I'm not saying that if he's a PPP, go for it. I'm saying that's the baseline entry requirements. And now you got to assess your nervous system, right? If he dysregulates your nervous system, you got to pay attention to many things. Again, the question is, what happens to my feminine expression when I'm with him? That's the question with men. And watching cheesy Hallmark movies and what have you, that's watching a movie and knowing it's a cheesy Hallmark movie means even your conscious mind knows that that's not applicable in real life, let alone your subconscious mind, right? Because the way you phrase the question, it's okay. Sometimes your step one, especially if you've had bad experiences, is to look for a masculine energy role model outside of your romantic life. Okay, this could be A father, doesn't have to be your father, somebody's father that you feel he's handled his family well. A coach, maybe a religious leader or a monk. Somebody who really, like, maybe it's a business leader, somebody who really embodies the healthy masculine. An athlete, yeah, maybe not one that has many babies with many different women, because that's very destabilizing to the female energy. So you want to look at a role model of masculine energy on how he handles his life, not just he can perform in a sport or something like that. And you want to study that. You want to study that man and try to understand what you like about him. Maybe there's things you like, there's things you don't like. Guys, please don't call me. I don't take calls during my life. Sort of look at that. Think of that when you think of men. Think of that. And project that in your thoughts as you walk through the day. Now, in order for this to work, what do you have to do when you're a single woman and you're looking to date, you're looking to this? You have to cut out everything that isn't that, okay? Women compromise too much in the initial stages of dating, when the initial stages of dating are designed for you to cut out what doesn't meet the box. You are supposed to cut out what's not for you. How many people can say that they've done this all the time? Very few, right? But there will come a stage in your development where you will know, okay? You will know that not cutting this man when, maybe even slept with him, and then he doesn't text you for 2 days, and then he's like, it's busy at work. If you don't cut him out, then your inner being knows that you're headed for disaster, that you're headed for confusion, that you're headed for, sort of this nervous system dysregulation where you don't understand, you don't know. When you can't anticipate something, when a man is not consistent, again, men are there for structure. If he's not providing the structure, he's useless. Not useless. Useless would be a small term. He's taking. There's men who are taking from you after 2, 3, 4 dates. You're already taking. All he did is buy you 2 dinners, maybe. So it doesn't make sense. I don't want to hear women who are in toxic relationships. More women should be saying, I can't find anybody who meets my standards. That I can accept. But what would happen if women stop giving themselves to men who don't meet the standards? What would happen, logically speaking? Because men need women. Well, we would force those men to grow. We would force men to grow together, right? Because if every woman's standard is X, almost every man would meet it. Believe me. That's why, if you look at dating in 1960s, they knew they didn't have access to a woman unless they did X and Y and Z. There was no access. And if they could live without access, they would. They would leave all the women behind. They can't live without access. So you don't understand really the power that you hold, the power that you have, and you're not really utilizing it. You're just giving it away for free, and then you're saying, oh, men aren't worth a damn. But you are at fault in this equation. We are all at fault. It's a group of women like that. So I don't want to end on this note. I want to tell you, watch my live if you missed the first part. All my lives are posted on YouTube about how to build confidence via self-respect, via competence, via energy work. Okay, all of these are needed. And how to keep yourself away from pain. Just keeping yourself away from pain and from draining relationships and interactions and circumstances. Just by keeping yourself away from that, your energy levels will increase. Don't ignore any subtle shifts. Okay, some queens in my group, oh yeah, I'm doing the workbook and I'm noticing subtle shifts. Listen, those subtle shifts, if you don't develop them, they will evaporate. They will slowly or quickly evaporate and dissipate. because the subtle shifts that you're feeling are just the beginning stages of what you need to develop. If you don't go in that direction because you're busy overthinking about your toxic relationship and etc., etc., it's gonna go away, right? So it's gonna be one step forward, two steps back. Choice is always yours on what happens here, like in your energetic space, and therefore corresponding in your body. Your body will shape automatically once the energy changes. Automatically, you'll feel the needs to walk, to run, to be part of nature. You feel the need, so all of these will change. The body feel the need to eat certain things, to stop eating other kind of things. I love you guys. Thank you so much for being part of this live, being part of the group, doing the work with me. I'll put some stuff on the group. Yeah, I think I'm gonna wait to start month 3 until April 1st. And let's put our hands together for now. EFT tapping, which we do every live, takes 30 seconds. I am a winner. One breath in. I am a winner. 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 I am a winner.